Hello, students. Let's talk about a literary term. And the literary term which we are going to talk about is alliteration. Alliteration is the repetition of the initial letter or sound in two or more closely associated words or stressed syllables. It means when sounds get repeated, and if those sounds are if a particular sound or sounds is or are repeated in those words which are closely associated in a particular line, or if those sounds fall on the stressed syllables, their repetition is called alliteration. As far as any example of alliteration is concerned, alliteration can be seen, for example, in Thomas Gray's elegy written in a country churchyard. The ploughman homeward plods his weary way. Now the ploughman, the p sound in ploughman and the p sound in plods, the same sound is repeated twice in ploughman, then in plod. So it is an example of repetition, that the same sound is repeated. The use of similar sounds for alliterative effect is evident in these lines from Tennyson. For example, the moan of doves in immemorial elms. So it is sound which is being repeated. And murmuring of innumerable bees. So the moan one of doves in immemorial 2, 3, elms, and murmuring 4, 5, of innumerable 6. So we can say that more than 5 to 6 times this sound has been sound has been repeated here. So this is an example of alliteration. Alliteration is not restricted to poetry. Frequently it occurs in popular expressions such as bag and baggage. So b sound is repeated, fire and flood. Again, f sound, we can see the repetition of f sound here, and thick and thin. So it is e sound which is repeated. So this is alliteration. And as we see that it is a repetition of certain sounds. Now let's elaborate it a bit. It's this discussion. Let's talk about some more examples. Alliteration can be in head rhyme or initial rhyme. The repetition of the same sounds, usually initial consonants of words or of stressed syllables. It is usually the consonant sounds which are normally being considered for alliteration. In the initial sounds of words or on the stressed syllables. So in any sequence of neighboring words, for example, landscape, lover, lord of language, these are from Tennyson. So these are examples of alliteration. Now an optional and incidental decorative effect in verse or prose. It was once a required element in the poetry of Germanic languages. And in Celtic verse, Celtic means from Ireland, from ancient Ireland, where alliterated sounds could regularly be placed in positions other than the beginning of a word or syllabus. Such poetry in which alliteration rather than rhyme is the chief principle of repetition. So that is called alliterative verse, in which there is a lot of alliteration, or we found alliteration in abundance. So that is alliterative verse, where alliteration was part of the meter. Now, its rules also allow a vowel sound to alliterate with any other vowel. And as far as the repetition of vowel sound is concerned, it is called assonance, but in alliterative verse, even vowel sounds, when vowel sounds are repeated, so it is also called alliterative verse. Means along with the repetition of consonant sounds, the repetition of vowel sounds is also included in alliterative verse. So this is the concept of alliteration, that it is a repetition of it is a close repetition, or it is a repetition of certain sounds in a sentence, and those sounds are either on the stressed syllables or they are the initial sounds. So I hope you got the point. Thank you for listening.